Hi and welcome back to the Get Wham show. Welcome my people. I hope you all are doing well. I am doing fantastic. A pretty great week in football, Pretty great week in the Premier League, depending on who you support. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Relatively entertaining weekend, some great goals. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Premier League was not that bad this week. Great goals, like I said, and yeah, some other stuff outside of the Premier League that were also great. Bayern Munich versus Dortmund. That was a great game. Man like Leroy Sané scoring in a classic match. We'll dive deep into that later, but right now let's talk some Prem. First match we had on last Friday was Brighton versus Burnley. I predicted that the game would be 2-0. It was 0-0. A pretty boring match, if I do say so myself. Yeah, I think it's just because at the moment those two teams they're kind of in a similar situation in terms of like they're lacking that creativity. Just going forward, they're defensively they're okay, but yeah, I think they're kind of in the same situation right now. Yeah, they are struggling at the moment. They're both struggling. Yeah, I mean, not the best result. I don't think it's the result everybody wanted to see, but yeah, it is what it is, and yeah, it was a 0-0 draw for both Brighton Hove Albion and Burnley. The next match we had was Southampton versus the Geordies, Newcastle. I predicted that it would be 1-0 to the Geordies. They actually lost, sadly. They lost 2-0. Yeah, Southampton got the best of them, man. They really did. Great goals in there as well. There were some pretty good goals. I have to say, man, a good goal, a good game, and a good win for Southampton. They didn't play bad. Yeah, I didn't think they played too bad. Newcastle weren't terrible. I think they were just lacking creativity in that game. I don't know what it was. They just weren't looking like themselves. But yeah, Southampton did get the best of them, man, and they won 2-0, which is a relatively comfortable win for a side like Southampton against Newcastle. Good win for them. Really good win for them. So yeah, fair play to them. Southampton winning Newcastle 2-0. There was also at the weekend probably one of the most anticipated matches. Everton versus Manchester United. I predicted 2-2 or 3-3. I really thought this game would be close, but man, was it the complete opposite. It was the complete opposite of what I would have thought, because Penchester United won Everton Football Club 3-1. It was mad. We had Bruno Fernandes scoring goals, not penalties, actual goals, some great headers from him. Yeah, I think for Manchester United, it was a good win for them. Fair play to them. It was a very good win for them because they haven't been very well at the first stage of this season so far, throughout the beginning of this season, because it's still very early. But yeah, this early stages of this season, they haven't been very great. But this win against Everton, it was a very good win for them, man. Very good win for them. Is it their biggest rivals? No, but it's a very big game. It is a big game. Not the biggest game in Wales football, but it is a good game. It's an important game, and it's an important one for Manchester United, considering the circumstances that they are in now. But very, very good win for them, man. Yeah, they did well. Looked like they almost solved, getting the rhythm back. Doesn't mean anything. Not yet. Maybe it can mean something later on during the season, but at the moment it doesn't mean a lot yet. I think there's a little bit of relief on United fans but because they needed this win. They really did need this win. And good win for them, man. 3-1. That's a thumping. That is a thumping. Like I said, that Richarlison kind of hurt them. Calvert-Lewin didn't score, man. Man like Calvert-Lewin. DCL did not score. I wasn't disappointed, but I was rather sad that he didn't score because I like Calvert-Lewin. I rated him last year and a bit before that. Yeah, he's a sick player, man, and it kind of sucks that he didn't score this time around against Manchester United. Maybe he'll get his rhythm back after the international break, score for England. So yeah, we'll see that. But great win for Manchester United against Everton, 3-1, man. What an insane result. I really thought this game would have been close, but this is football, man. So yeah, 3-1. The next match we had was Palace versus Leeds. I thought this would have been 2-1 to Palace, but it was 4-1 to Palace. Insane, man, insane. Insane in the sense that I thought Leeds would have challenged a bit more. But they didn't, man. They were lacking. Palace, they did well, man. They did very well. And they absolutely smashed Leeds. Smashed them. Absolutely smashed Leeds. This goes back to what I was saying earlier, that those smaller teams that are doing so well now, it's not going to last forever, man. It's not going to last forever. Back in the early 2000s, there was teams that were insane teams that you would think these teams are never going to win the league. We're in first place. So, yeah, this kind of just shows like how the table is going to even out. Yeah. Even though I rate Leeds, I think they're sick. Play some sick football. They're crazy. They do mad things that nobody would ever try. They got thumped by Palace, man. They got thumped by Palace. Great goals. Great free kick. A good win for Palace. Whether they can keep it up or not, yeah. I don't think they barely do, but at the moment they're at least during this match they were playing well. They played very, very well. I think they had control most of the time. They had control of the match, and it was a good one for Palace. Very good one for Palace. The next game we had was Chelsea versus Sheffield United, the Miners. Who, yeah, they haven't been doing that well this season. But yeah, I predicted it would be 2-0 to Chelsea. It was 4-1 to Chelsea. Good win for them. Starting to look like they're shaping up. Yeah, they're starting to look like they're shaping up. Looking like they're getting into form. I think Lampard he's catching up a little bit. And yeah, like I said, those big teams are starting to creep up. They're gonna creep up. And they're gonna, yeah, they're eventually going to get into those top 4 places where they should be. All in all, the league's gonna even out sooner or later. I think by the end of this year, or diving into the beginning of next year, January time, table's gonna even out. It's gonna even out. It's gonna get a lot more competitive because, yeah, at the moment there's some shocking results, and it's gonna get more competitive going into the second half of the season. So, yeah, right now it's a little boring. It's lacking that excitement, but it's gonna start to increase. It's gonna get better during the second half of the season. I think the second half is probably gonna be the best the Premier League that we've seen in a while. It's gonna be sick. It's gonna be sick. Because in my opinion, one of the best seasons, or was very, very sick, was probably the 18-19 season. Yeah, given that it was just between City and Liverpool. I know that. I get that. It was just between City and Liverpool, the competition, but it was sick. Top 4, it was sticky, man. It was absolutely sticky. The competition was healthy. But anyways, yeah, a decent win for Chelsea. Lampard getting it right this time. Lampard getting it right. Shout out Thiago Silva. Getting his first goal for Chelsea. I'm pretty sure Dave and AJ Tracy were going crazy, even though they don't support those teams. But yeah, scored his first goal, Thiago Silva. And yeah, great win for Chelsea. Let's see if they can keep the form. We had West Ham versus Fulham. Yeah, I predicted West Ham would win this match 2-0, 1-0. Yeah, just a solid win from West Ham. I think that's really it, just a solid one. Tottenham versus West Brom. I thought Tottenham would just absolutely thump West Brom, get away with 3-0 win. Because they are looking pretty decent at the moment. I think that they're going to be up there for top 4. They are looking dangerous. You know Jose's style. He wins ugly, man. He doesn't win in the most prettiest ways, like a pep way. But he wins, man. And when he wins, it's ugly. But at the end of the day, that's all that wins, man. I mean, why did I say that? That's all that counts, is what I meant to say. That's all that counts, is a win. Trophies. That's all that counts. And yeah, he did it. He won West Brom 1-0. I thought this would be 3-0, but no, it was 1-0. Good win for Tottenham. It wasn't the most entertaining match, but a good win for Tottenham. No, nothing else much to say. We also had Leicester versus Wolves. I thought this would be 3-2 or 2-1 to Leicester. It was 1-0 to Leicester. Again, not the most entertaining game, but yeah, a good win for Leicester. I thought Wolves would have. I thought they would have done a bit better, man. I thought they would have done a bit better. I don't think it was luck that got the best of them. I just think they were just lacking that day. Leicester, they looked like they were on top of it. Yeah, Jamie Vardy with the pen, even though I missed it the first time. But yeah, a good win for Leicester. Not the most beautiful one, like Jose style, but it was a good win for Leicester. It was a good win for Leicester. Another team that's gonna give the big team, top 6 teams, many problems. Yeah, just a good win for Leicester. The biggest game of the weekend, debatably probably the biggest game of the weekend, the one that I was the most excited for, Manchester Citeh versus Liverpool. My God, was this a boring match. I watched it. I know a lot of people said it was a pretty good game. They were, you know, they were giving each other problems. They were high pressing. They were playing quick. Yada. I thought it was pretty boring, dude. I want to see people mashing each other. I want to see crazy tackles. I don't want to see passing for just most of the time. Like, bro, these are probably like the best team, debatably, the biggest teams and the best teams in the Premier League, if not the best teams in the Premier League. Liverpool and Manchester City. I want to see bashing, bro. I want it to go down. And yeah, it kind of did, but it wasn't the best game compared to like the last matches they had. I remember 18-19, 2-1, Leroy Sané with that goal in the closing minutes. Sick, yeah. Shoots it left foot, hits the woodwork, goes in. That's what I want to see. I want a match like that, and I think most football fans, specifically City and Liverpool fans, they would do anything to relive a night like that, because that was absolutely entertaining. This game didn't. I don't know. I personally didn't feel like it was that entertaining. That was a bit boring, man. Yeah, I predicted 2-1, and it was 1-1. Wasn't the best, man. It wasn't the most entertaining. I think this is a bigger issue for City though than I do Liverpool. I think Liverpool, I think for them, whether they would have tied, won, or lost, I don't think it was as big of an issue for them. I mean, no team wants to lose, obviously, but I think whether they tie or won wasn't as big of a deal as it was for City. I think City, they needed this win, tie. Yeah, win or tie. I don't think they needed a tie. Sorry. I meant they needed this win more than Liverpool, I would say, because it's going to have a lot to do with their next coming matches and everything else going on. I think they need a bit of a morale booster just so they can say, alright, we can get this title back. We can win the league again. I don't know. I think just City, yeah, they just didn't. They were a bit lacking. In a way, I don't think it's because of the way they're playing. I don't think it's the way they're playing. I think it's just the team in general. I think with the forwards, more specifically the forwards, I think back when they had my favorite player, I think one of my favorite players in City's history, Leroy Sané. I think when he was on the left channel and Sterling on the right channel, it really opened up the pitch. So that way they can cross balls to Sergio Aguero, just feed him. Really opened up the pitch. They can run up and down, inside. It really opened it up, and I don't think you get that when you put Ferran Torres in there and them man there. You know, I don't think you get that. I think it just feels a bit congested. You know, I think that is a big issue, not just because of this game. I think just in this season and at the moment for Manchester City, I think it just feels a bit congested. Yeah, I just think for forward, it just doesn't feel right, you know? Like, just watching them, like, you're like, no, this isn't as convincing as when Leroy Sané and Raheem Sterling are on the outside. It's just, yeah, it's not there. It's going to take time. But, yeah, I think City really needed this win, and they wanted this win more than Liverpool did. Because Liverpool, they're playing well right now. They're playing very well right now. And probably better than City. I would say better than City. And it's kind of, I think this game in a way showed that Liverpool are the dominant team and the #1 favorites to win the title again. So I think City, yep, they needed this win. They didn't get it. Whether it'll affect them or not in the future, maybe, because they have some time to rethink everything, as it is the international break. But I think it can affect them for future matches. Whereas Liverpool, I don't think so much, even though they're defensive. That's another thing as well. Both of their defenses a bit shaky. I think more Liverpool than City, but they dominated that game, man. I think they dominated that game way over City. I think they just looked like the more, how should I say this, the more dominant team in that match. And I think they had the upper hand most of that match. They played far better than Manchester City, and yeah, we'll see what happens in the future for both of those teams, as they are the favorites to win the title. Last match of the weekend, Arsenal versus Aston Villa. I thought they would have either lost or tied 2-2. I kind of trust in my gut and say, alright, I think they'll nick away a tie. They played absolutely terrible. Losing 3-0. 3-0 to Aston Villa at home. Gee, they were absolutely dreadful this match. There's nothing much to say like on Arsenal. They just played absolutely terrible. They were shocking. Tierney doing whatever skill he was trying. I don't know what YouTube tutorial he saw. He tried a skill and he fell on the floor. It was dreadful. I don't know why. It's like, you're a defender. You're in the other half of the pitch. Why are you doing skills and dicking around? Like, I just didn't. He gave away the ball. It was absolutely dreadful. They were toying with them, man. And then Rob Holding was absolutely dreadful. This guy was I don't know what he was doing. I think he was still at home taking salsa lessons, because he was terrible. He was getting toyed with, man. I think Jack Grealish was having the time of his life. He was having the time of his life. Hector Bellerin made him look like Ronaldinho. He was having the time of his life. Arsenal were absolutely dreadful this match. Oh, wow. I don't know what. They were just terrible. And that's the thing. I think I don't know what it is with Arsenal's inconsistency when they win. It's just very odd. Like they when they win a match, given it hasn't been the most convincing wins. I think people They kind of, when they see Arsenal win, they're like, all right, that's good for them. It's gonna boost them. I necessarily, I don't feel that. I think Arsenal, when they win, like for example, when they won Manchester United, it wasn't the most convincing win. Yeah, they played well. They played pretty well. But they won by a penalty. It wasn't the most convincing performance. I don't think they. I don't know what it is, and yeah, I think just in this game against Aston Villa, they looked terrible. They looked terrible. This looked like Arsene Wenger days. Like Arsene Wenger, get out of here, please. And I hate the way he went away from the club, because Arsene Wenger, he like made Arsenal Football Club. He's an absolute legend. But that's for another time. Anyways, yeah, Arsenal, they just look absolutely dreadful, man. They were being toyed with. Like, they just were not there. They scoring. Aston Villa scoring in less than a minute or a minute, and it was offside. I don't think it should have been offside, but yeah, they were just playing like a bunch of weenies, man. They were just playing terrible. Like they scored in you can see just in their character and the way they were playing that when Aston Villa scored and within a minute, which was shocking. That should have never happened for them. When Aston Villa scored in that first minute, they're like, oh shoot, they scored, but VAR is gonna check it, which they did, and it counted offside. And after they counted offside, they're like, all right, we can continue to play the way we were playing, and they did. They did exactly that. They saw the goal go in, and they're like, all right, we're just gonna continue playing how we're playing. They got destroyed. It was an absolutely shocking performance from Arsenal. They played terrible. Absolutely terrible, and I think it's going to have a really, really big consequence on their future matches, because at the moment it's not looking good for Arsenal Football Club, and I think Arteta, he's really getting it wrong at the moment. I don't know, maybe it's going to be an international break for him to finally realize, alright, I'm going to play down the middle. Because Arsenal, man, they created no chances except that one Lacazette one, which should have finished. I think not Arsenal. I think Obama Bloodclay would have finished that. Even Martinelli. But they're just terrible. They were absolutely dreadful, not creating anything. They were terrible. I don't know what it was. They just were not on it that day. At all. Like, at all. They were dreadful, man. And like I said, I think it's gonna have a really, really big effect on their future matches, and if they can even make it to top 4, because at the beginning of the season, way before the season even started, I was like, okay, these guys can win top 4. These guys can win top 4. They looked convincing when they came back during the whole COVID matches, the Project Restart, and during the Cup finals. I thought they looked very convincing. I was like, okay, things are starting to shape up around here, and they got some signings. I was like, okay, they look like some pretty convincing signings, and they did. They have been playing well, those new signings. Gabriel, more than anything, he's been absolutely excellent. Yeah, but I don't know. It's just very, very. It's a sticky situation over there at Arsenal. I think a lot of people need to, as well. I think they're putting a little too much pressure, even a lot more pressure. I think they're putting a lot of pressure on Mikel Arteta. I mean, dude, he's been there for less than a year. He's already won two trophies. A year from now, you're gonna look at it and be like, okay, he's done better than most, if not a lot of new managers who have come in to new clubs. He's already won 2 trophies. He's already won 2 trophies. That's not bad for a new manager who's come in. Pep couldn't do that, and neither could Klopp. that's pretty good, if I do say so myself. I don't think he's been too bad, but in the Premier League he does have to shape up. I get it. He's experimenting, trying new things, trying to find his best team. But there's some stuff that's like, dude, come on. Can you wake up, please? Like, just play Aubameyang down the middle. I think those are just the more obvious things. Aubameyang not playing down the middle. Just very, very shaky. And I think probably the biggest one is that creative midfielder, because they don't create. They have the people to finish off, to play. They have the people to... How do I say this? They have the people who can finish things off, but they don't have the people who can, create things, make things. Because, there's very many players that if you give them the ball, they'll boss the pitch. But they don't have anyone that can give the ball to those people that can boss the pitch. Kind of like Ozil and Alexis situation. A beautiful duo. Ozil always knew where Alexis was. Always knew where he was. It was just a beautiful partnership. And he was insanely creative at the time when Ozil was in his prime with Alexis Sanchez. He was arguably probably one of the best midfielders in the world and in the whole Premier League. He was absolutely sick. It's kind of like that situation, like that Ozil Alexis situation that they used to have. It's not there at the moment with Arsenal Football Club. Just not there. And the way things are with that lack of creativity, I think people just need to accept that. With that lack of creativity and everything that's going on right now, it's gonna continue to be like that until the next transfer window during the winter. It's gonna be like, I think people need to accept that, especially Arsenal fans. You guys need to accept that the way things are right now, they're gonna continue to be like that until the next transfer window. It's gonna continue to be like that. You guys can't create, and you don't have that creativity unless you guys bring back Ozil, which I don't think is gonna happen. Not because of the manager. I think it's a much deeper than that. I would love to see Ozil back, because he wasn't my idol when I was younger. I was a little boy. He was my absolute idol. I tried to do everything that was him. I tried to cut my hair like him. I tried to dress like him in terms of football, not off the pitch. I tried to dress like him. I even got the same football boots as him. I remember. I had to use Predator Instinct, white and black, World Cup 2014. I tried to be that man. I thought he was absolutely sick, and he is sick. I still love Ozil. I love Ozil, man, but it's affecting Arsenal not having a creative midfielder, and it's going to continue to be that way until the next transfer window. Or Arsenal can bring back Ozil, try him out. But I really don't see that happening. I really don't. But other than that, I think the Premier League this weekend, it was pretty good. It wasn't too bad. I think it was a little laxed. I think it was a little bit more lax because of the international break. I think people wanted to, not regenerate, but I think they wanted to. How do I say this? I think the whole international break was a chance for all the teams to kind of like recuperate, get their minds straight, because of everything that's been going on. So I think it is a bit of an advantage, just a bit of an advantage for a lot of clubs and a lot of players, just to get their mind right again, just get away from Premier League football for a little bit, or club football for a little bit. So that was pretty good. But another result I wanted to go over. We're gonna get away from England. We're gonna go over to Germany. Germany. Yeah, not Germany. Germany. What I meant to say was we're gonna get away from England, head over to Germany, and look at the German Bundesliga, as there was a very big match on the weekend. Bayern Munich versus Borussia Dortmund. Yeah, I think this was probably a better game than the Premier League matches, to be fair. Yeah, relatively entertaining. I think both of those teams, Dortmund and Bayern, very entertaining to watch. Very entertaining to watch. They play some very good football. I would say. And this match, they just battled off something that I wanted to see in the Liverpool versus Manchester City game that it didn't offer. Bayern and Dortmund, they battled it off. They fought to the death. They went ham. They went ham. They weren't just just passing it around. Like, no, dude. Like, I want to see battling it out. You guys are the best teams in the league. Yeah. So, in comparison to a 1-1 draw at the Etihad Stadium, there was a 3-2 win to Bayern versus Borussia Dortmund. This was sick. Marco Reus scoring a goal. I haven't seen him score a goal in a minute. Haaland scoring. Great goal, man. Dancing around. Left foot. Dancing around Manuel Neuer. Absolutely destroying David Alaba. Destroying, bro. I passed him like nothing. Like, I think he had like something on his wrist or something. Boom. And he just teleported. Like, it was boom. Like, he was over there, like midway of the pitch, halfway on the pitch in the middle. Boom, just all the way went up to the final third. It was absolutely mad. So yeah, that was sick. He scored a terrific goal. Yeah, David Alaba, he scored again. He scored a great goal. I think it was a free kick if I'm not mistaken. Lewandowski, like always, scoring a good goal. But for me, my favorite goal, I think the best goal of this flipping match, Leroy Sané coming in for Coleman. Because Coleman, get out of here. Get out of here. I like you. I rate you. I really do rate Coleman, bro. Coleman is sick. Coleman is sick. He's a killer. But, bro, step aside. Because man like Leroy Sané is coming in. You can't compare to Leroy Sané, bro. Bad boy. Absolute bad boy. He's so sick. You see the way he was toying around? Like 4 people, bro. 4 people. I won't even compare him to Messi. Because Leroy Sané and Messi, 2 different worlds, 2 different lanes, bro. 2 different lanes, 2 different worlds. Leroy Sané was bossing that match. He bossed that match. He came in for not too long, but he bossed it when he came. He was electric. He was absolutely electric. Kind of reminded me when he was when he had those good matches back in Manchester City. And even then, Pep would sit him on the bench. But anyways, I think he played sick. Scoring that goal, and those right at the end, those 2 defenders coming in, squeeze him off. Just wrapping, just getting, just enough to be able to wrap his foot around the ball and curve it in to the left side of the goal. Dude, he was sick. He was absolutely beast. Leroy Sané, bro, that is my guy. I've rated him since forever, man. I remember when he was in Schalke, scored that banger against Real Madrid, left foot. That was beast, man. That was beast. And I rated him in City. I loved him in Manchester City. I thought he had some sick moments. Yeah. What a goal from Leroy Sané. Played super duper well. Very well. Yeah. Super cool to see him score. And I think it was pretty entertaining. Very entertaining. I think one of the most entertaining matches of that weekend. And yeah, I think Bayern did deserve that win. They played very well. I think, yeah, like I said, more importantly, I think Leroy Sané deserved that win. Because he played boss. He was electric. But anyways, probably the last game I'm going to go over was Real Madrid. Because they did play on the weekend. It was mad, bro, because they lost 4-1 to Valencia. 4-1 to Valencia. 3 penalty kicks and 1 own goal. Yeah. Another game, like I said, that they were fighting, man. Because Valencia is one of those teams that they do give big top 6 teams, or just well, is there really even a top 6 in La Liga? Yeah, I think Barca, Real Madrid, and Atletico, Valencia always gives those teams problems because they play good football. They play very good football. I think they always challenge those teams. But yeah, man, Madrid getting destroyed 4-1. That is mad. That is absolutely sick. They were having. I think Valencia was having a laugh because they destroyed them, but wrong. Well, they destroyed them in the sense they scored a lot of goals. They weren't good goals because they were all penalties and one own goal. But yeah, I think Valencia was having an absolute laugh, whereas Real Madrid, they were having a stinker. It was an absolute shocker, man. They were having a shocker. Wasn't a convincing one for Valencia, but it was a good win for the Valencia because that's what they want, man. They want to win Real Madrid. They hate Real Madrid, so a good win for Valencia, not so good for Real Madrid. Yeah, La Liga looking mad as well, man. At the moment, La Liga is looking mad as well. Whether it's going to even out or not, I really can't say because I don't watch too much of La Liga football, but it is looking mad. I think this is the first time in a very, very, very long time that Barca and Madrid, they look even. They look like equal teams. I think they're like replicas of each other. I think they're at that same they're at the same stage at the moment, the rebuilding stage. Yeah, I think that I feel like they're in that same position. I think they're in identical positions, just finding their best teams, finding their best players, and really gaining form again. Because at the moment, yeah, they're not doing very, very well. They're not doing very well. That game of the weekend was crazy. I was like, what? Because I did watch a bit of it. I did watch a bit of that game after the Manchester City versus Liverpool match. And yeah, I saw that they were dueling, man. Real Madrid and Valencia, they were absolutely dueling, man. They were bam, bam, bam. They were fighting till the death, man. They were fighting till the end. And I like to see that, man. It's football, entertaining football. Yeah, they were fighting it off. And yeah, I logged off because I had some stuff to do. And I look at my cellular and I was like, yo, 4-1. I just looked. I was watching the game right now. It was 1-0. I remember watching I was like, wasn't it 1-0? Yeah, it was mad. I think La Liga is definitely having. I'm telling you, most leagues except the Bundesliga, like La Liga and Premier League, they're looking like FIFA. Like, you know when you play FIFA career mode, at least back in the day. When you play FIFA career mode, and like it kind of gives you like its own thing of the table. Yeah. Like when you go into career mode, and like it shows you like other leagues. Go look at the other leagues, and you go to other leagues, and it shows you the tables. You look at the tables, they're like, this would never happen in real life. This would never happen in real life. Why would Norwich be in first place? Stuff like that, you know? I think both La Liga and Premier League are looking a lot like that at the moment. It's just unbelievable. It's like, what? But yeah, they'll even out. They'll even out eventually, and those top 6 teams will creep up again. But yeah, it's mad. The moment football is crazy. It's absolutely crazy, but it's gonna die off. It's gonna die off eventually. I think it's gonna get even more entertaining. Also, before I forget, here's the current table right now. Let me read off the top 6. Yeah, Leicester City sitting at the top of the table with 18 points. They are in first place. Tottenham in second place with 17 points. Liverpool Football Club in third place with 17 points. Southampton in fourth place with 16 points. Chelsea, 5th place with 15 points. And in 6th place, we had Aston Villa with 15 points. And imagine, bro, Everton in 7th place and they were in 1st place. Mad. City continued to be in 10th place, 12 points. And Arsenal dipped even more to 11th place with 12 points. Manchester United, they are creeping up again. Just a little bit. Yeah, they're in 14th place with 10 points. Yeah, man, it's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. That's the thing. If you look at 10th place where Manchester City is in like the top 4, it's not that many points to separate them. And I think people are really getting that. Like, they're just mistaking that. They're like, oh, United and City they're all the way at the bottom. And yeah, they are all the way at the bottom. Who the hell wants to be there? But the point difference between top 4 and those lower bottom teams, it's not too much. It's not too much. So you can creep up. Things can change. But honestly, things can really change within one weekend. Massively. Things can change within one weekend. Massively. And yeah, things are really crazy at the moment. Those smaller teams, they're going to challenge the top 6 teams. And it's going to be crazy. It's going to be absolutely crazy. It's going to be madness. And hopefully the league does get better because it's a tiny bit boring at the moment. I think it's just a bit boring. I want to see intensity. And I think we'll get that. Towards the end of the season, going into the second half next season. Other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you for sticking around. I hope you have a nice, as said by my good man David Vujanik. And yeah, leave a like, leave a comment if you like. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you're watching it, if you watched and you didn't subscribe or like, or at least even comment, then you're like the biggest F-boy. But other than that, thank you for joining along. Hope you guys, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And I will see you next time on the Get Wham show.